The forest outside Konoha was usually a place of quiet shadows. Today, it was a war zone. Naruto leaped through the branches, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He could feel Sasuke's chakra ahead. It was flickering, like a dying candle in a hurricane. And behind it, something massive and cold was rising, a presence that felt like the desert itself had decided to eat the trees. "Faster!" Naruto yelled, pushing more chakra into his legs. The wood beneath his feet propelled him forward, adding a spring to his step that defied physics. Sakura was right behind him, her face set in a grim mask. Pakun, Kakashi's pug summon, led the way, his nose twitching. "We're close," Pakun barked, "but be careful, there are traps everywhere and it smells like blood and sand." "Puppets," Sakura warned. 3 wooden monstrosities dropped from the canopy, Kenkuro's leftovers. They clicked and whirred, blades extending from their joints. "I don't have time for this," Naruto shouted. He didn't stop running, he extended his hand. "Wood release, binding root." Roots shot from the branches, wrapping around the puppets and slamming them into each other. They shattered into splinters. Naruto didn't even look back. He just kept running toward the feeling of cold, dry death. Meanwhile at the stadium, the invasion was in full swing. Sound and sand ninja swarmed the stands, but they had met a wall. Kakashi Hatake and Might Guy stood back to back in the center of a pile of unconscious enemies. "Your rivalry count is about to go down, Kakashi," Guy shouted, delivering a dynamic entry kick that sent 3 sound ninja flying into the wall. "I am currently leading by 2 unconscious bodies." "I'm a little busy, Guy," Kakashi said, his Sharingan spinning as he tracked a wind scythe jutsu. He countered with a water wall, then followed up with a lightning-infused kunai throw. "The Hokage," Kakashi said, looking up at the purple barrier on the roof. "We need to help him." "We can't," Guy said, his face serious. "That barrier, if we touch it, we burn. We have to trust the old man, and we have to trust the Jonin." Kakashi looked toward the forest where Naruto had gone. "Naruto, he's fighting something big. I can feel the earth shaking." "The power of youth burns brightest in the darkest forest," Guy declared. "Don't worry, Lee would have gone with them if he could walk. They will succeed." Kakashi nodded, though his grip on his kunai tightened. "Yeah, they have to." The forest clearing. Naruto skidded to a halt, his sandals tearing up the grass. The scene before him was a nightmare painted in tan and purple. Sasuke was pinned to a tree, his body covered in the cursed seal's markings, paralyzed by fear and pain. Gaara stood over him, but it wasn't Gaara anymore. Half of his body was bloated, transformed into the sandy, bulbous limb of a tanuki. A massive tail swept back and forth, leveling trees with every swing. "Uchiha," the monster roared. "Die for my existence, prove that I am alive." Gaara raised his claw. "Leaf Hurricane." Rock Lee wasn't there, but Naruto was. He didn't use taijutsu. He used a root. A thick, gnarled vine shot out of the ground, wrapping around Gaara's claw and yanking it back with the force of a falling tree. "Get away from him," Naruto shouted, landing between the monster and his teammate. Gaara's yellow eye swiveled to Naruto. "You, the gardener, you came to be pruned." "Naruto," Sasuke wheezed, blood trickling from his mouth. "Run, he's a monster, you can't beat him." "Yeah," Naruto said, not looking back. He cracked his knuckles. "So am I." The fight was a catastrophe. Gaara wasn't holding back anymore. He let the Shukaku take over completely. The sand exploded, covering the forest in a tidal wave of grit. Naruto tried to block with walls of wood, but the sand ground them to dust. It was erosion in fast forward. "Playing with sticks," Gaara laughed, his voice now a dual-tone shriek that grated on the soul. "I will bury your garden. I will turn this forest into a dune." "Playing sleep." Gaara performed a seal. His human body emerged from the sand forehead of the growing beast, dangling limply as he fell into a deep, forced sleep. The one-tailed Shukaku erupted. It was the size of a mountain, a towering, screaming beast of sand and blue markings. It roared, and the sound wave flattened 100 acres of forest. The trees snapped like toothpicks. "Okay," Naruto whispered, looking up at the Titan. "That's big." "Naruto," Sakura screamed from the edge of the clearing, shielding her face from the wind. "We have to run. We can't fight that." "No," Naruto said. He bit his thumb, drawing blood. "If we run, it destroys the village. I have to stop it here. This is my home. This is my garden." He slammed his hand onto the ground. He didn't just call for a toad. He called for the forest to help him carry the weight. Summoning jutsu. Poof! A massive cloud of smoke erupted. Through it, 2 giant swords slashed, clearing the air. Gamma Hero landed, the ground shaking under his weight. The giant green toad looked at the Shukaku, then down at Naruto standing on his head. "You summoned me for this," Gamma Hero rumbled, unsheathing his twin blades. "A tailed beast, you are bold, little gardener, or foolish." "Can you fight it?" Naruto yelled over the wind. "I can cut it," Gamma Hero said. "But sand is tricky, it shifts, it reforms, and he hits hard. I need armor, I need weight." Naruto grinned. "I can do weight." He closed his eyes. He reached for the ocean inside him, the mix of the fox's fire and the first's wood. He pushed it all into his feet, into the toad. He imagined the armor of a samurai, carved from the oldest oak in the world. "Would release toad armor." The forest answered. Roots didn't just grow from the ground. They grew from Gamma Hero's skin. Massive, interlocking plates of iron-hard timber formed over the toad's chest and arms. A helmet of woven oak formed over his head. The wooden armor pulsed with green light, heavy and nearly indestructible. "Impressive," Gamma Hero grunted, flexing his armored shoulders. "I feel rooted." "Let's go," Naruto shouted. Gamma Hero leaped. He cleared the distance in a single bound, his swords flashing. Clang! The swords hit the Shukaku's arm, but the sand held. The beast roared, firing a wind bullet, a compressed ball of air that could punch through a mountain. Gamma Hero didn't dodge, he tanked it. The wooden armor splintered, sending shards of timber flying, but it absorbed the impact, protecting the toad beneath. "Wind style," Shukaku shrieked. "Die, die, die." "Not today," Naruto yelled. He channeled more chakra, repairing the armor in real time. The wood on Gamma Hero's arms extended, wrapping around the swords, turning them into massive, serrated clubs of timber. Gamma Hero swung again. This time the wood smashed through the sand, shattering the Shukaku's arm. "Wake him up, Naruto," Gamma Hero shouted as he grappled with the beast. "I'll hold the body, you get the boy, break the medium." Gamma Hero tackled the Shukaku, pinning it to the ground. The earth shook. The wooden armor creaked under the strain, but it held. Naruto ran. He ran up Gamma Hero's back, up the snout, and leaped toward the sleeping Gaara hanging from the Shukaku's forehead. Sand spikes shot out to impale him. "I'm not stopping," Naruto roared. He didn't dodge. He let the wood grow from his own body, forming a shield over his chest. The spikes hit the wood, getting stuck. Naruto grunted as one pierced his shoulder, but he kept moving. He reached Gaara. He pulled back his fist. "Wake up." Crack. Naruto punched Gaara in the face. It wasn't a technique. It was a wake-up call. But as his fist connected, something happened. Their chakra merged. Flash. Naruto wasn't on the toad anymore. He was in a dark, empty room. Gaara was sitting there, a small child crying alone. "Why?" Gaara whispered. "Why do they hate me?" "Because they're afraid," Naruto said, stepping into the darkness. "Because we're monsters." "Then I must kill them," Gaara said, "to prove I exist." "No," Naruto said. He sat down next to Gaara. "You exist because you feel pain. I know it hurts, Gaara. It hurts so much it makes you want to scream until your throat bleeds. But if you kill everyone, then who's going to say your name?" "Who says yours?" Gaara asked. "Iruka," Naruto said. Kakashi, Sakura, Sasuke, Hinata, Gamahiro, the old man. He put a hand on Gaara's shoulder. You can have names too, but you have to wake up. Flash. Gaara's eyes snapped open, the spell broke. The Shukaku screamed as its form began to crumble. The sand lost its cohesion, falling away like a collapsing castle. Gamahiro jumped back as the beast disintegrated. Naruto and Gaara fell, tumbling through the air until they hit the canopy of a tree Naruto had created earlier. They landed on a thick branch, both exhausted, both drained. Gaara looked at Naruto. The madness was gone from his eyes, replaced by a profound, terrifying confusion. Why, Gaara whispered, why are you so strong? You fight for others, but why do they make you strong? They are just prey. Naruto dragged himself over to Gaara. He was crawling. His body felt heavy, empty. Because they saved me, Naruto gasped. I was alone, Gaara. I was in the dark just like you. I thought power was hate, but then I found people who accepted me, who looked at my garden and didn't see weeds. He grabbed Gaara's shirt. If you kill them, Naruto said, tears streaming down his face, I'll kill you. I'll kill you to stop the loneliness. I won't let you drag me back into the dark. Gaara looked at Naruto's tears. He saw the genuine pain. For the first time in his life, someone understood the hell he lived in. Love, Gaara murmured. The word felt foreign on his tongue. Is that what makes you strong? Temari and Kankuro landed on the branch, ready to attack. Stop, Gaara whispered. Gaara, Kankuro asked, shocked. He had never seen his brother look so defeated, so human. Let's go, Gaara said. I want to think. The Sand siblings picked him up. As they leaped away, Gaara looked back one last time. Naruto Uzumaki, he said. Naruto didn't answer. He watched them go until they disappeared into the trees. Then he looked toward the village. He could see smoke rising from the Hokage monument. The barrier was still up. Old man, Naruto whispered. He stood up, his legs shaking. He wiped the blood from his shoulder. Gamahiro, he yelled down to the forest floor. Can you give me a lift? The giant toad, now stripped of his broken wooden armor, gave a thumbs up. He looked battered but triumphant. Where to, gardener? The roof, Naruto said, his eyes burning. We have a snake to catch and a grandpa to save. The roof of the stadium was burning. Purple flames licked the sky, a rectangular barrier of death that separated the third Hokage from his village. Outside, the sounds of war raged, metal on metal, explosions, screams. But inside the violet box, the silence was heavy, broken only by the panting of an old man and the mocking laughter of his student. Hiruzen Sarutobi wiped blood from his chin. He stood in the center of the tiles, his adamantine staff heavy in his hands. Before him stood the first and second Hokage, his teachers, the founders of the village, reanimated as mindless puppets with eyes full of dust and malice. And behind them, laughing with a tongue that tasted the air, was Orochimaru. What's the matter, sensei? Orochimaru sneered, adjusting the cage hat he had stolen. Too old to dance with ghosts. You look tired. Perhaps you should just lie down and die. I will not let you destroy this village, Hiruzen roared. He spun the staff, deflecting a jet of water from the second and a wave of roots from the first. This village is my home. Every person here is my family. Family? Orochimaru laughed. You sacrifice your family for your ideals. You sacrificed Minato. You sacrificed the Uchiha. And now you will sacrifice yourself. He performed a seal. Wood release, deep forest bloom. Trees erupted from the tiles, twisting around Hiruzen's limbs, binding the staff. The pollen filled the air, heavy and soporific. Hiruzen coughed, his vision blurring. He felt the branches tightening, squeezing the breath from his lungs. It is poetic, Orochimaru mused, walking forward with the sword of Kusanagi. You will die by the very power you failed to nurture in the Nine-Tails boy. You hid him away. You let him rot. And now the wood comes for you. Hiruzen gritted his teeth. Naruto, I'm sorry. I tried to protect you. I tried to keep you from this burden. He dropped the staff. He closed his eyes, focusing his chakra. There was only one way to end this. Only one way to seal away the evil he had allowed to fester. Snake Boar Ram. Reaper Death Seal. The temperature on the roof dropped to absolute zero. The spectral demon appeared behind him, a knife in its mouth, its white robes billowing in a wind that didn't exist. It was a presence older than chakra, older than the village. It was the end of all things. Hiruzen lunged, his soul reaching out through the Reaper's arm to grab Orochimaru's. "What is this?" Orochimaru screamed as his spirit was dragged from his body. "What have you done?" "It is the end," Hiruzen wheezed. "I will take you with me, to the belly of the Reaper where we will fight for eternity." But he was too weak. The sword of the grass ninja was buried in his chest. His strength was fading. He couldn't pull the whole soul out. The Reaper hovered, impatient, its knife raised. It demanded payment. "Die, old man." Orochimaru commanded the First Hokage to strike. Hashirama raised a wooden fist, ready to crush Hiruzen's skull. Crash! The purple barrier shattered, not from the inside but from the outside. A massive toad landed on the roof, crushing the sound 4 members who were maintaining the seal. The impact shook the entire stadium. Gamahiro roared, swinging his swords to clear the debris. Naruto leaped from the toad's head. He looked battered, his jacket torn, his face stained with dirt and blood, but his eyes were burning. "Old man!" Naruto yelled. "Naruto!" Hiruzen gasped, his grip on Orochimaru slipping. "Get back, you can't be here, run!" "I'm not leaving you," Naruto shouted. He landed next to the Hokage. He felt the cold chill of the Reaper, a cold that made the forest of death feel like a summer day. He saw the soul of Orochimaru halfway out of his body, a twisted, purple spirit screaming in silence. "Hashirama!" Naruto yelled at the reanimated corpse. "Wake up, stop being a puppet, you're the First Hokage." The First Hokage froze. The black sclera of his eyes seemed to tremble. He looked at Naruto. He felt the resonance, the wood chakra in Naruto calling out to the wood chakra in his own dead cells. It was a song he hadn't heard in decades. "That chakra," Hashirama's voice was hollow, but for a moment the dust in his eyes cleared. "Granddaughter." "No," Naruto grabbed Hiruzen's arm, trying to pull him back. "I'm Naruto, and I'm getting you out of here." "It's too late," Hiruzen whispered, tears mixing with the blood on his face. "The Reaper has been summoned. He requires a soul, a life for a deed. I have made the contract." "A soul?" Naruto looked at the Reaper. The demon stared back, its eyes hungry. It raised its knife. It didn't care who died. It only cared that someone died. "A life for a life," Hashirama whispered, fighting Orochimaru's control. His wooden arm twitched, resisting the command to strike. He pointed a trembling finger at Naruto. "Vitality can substitute. Spirit, the wood, remembers." Naruto's eyes widened. Vitality. He looked at the wood growing all around them. He looked at his own hands. He felt the ocean inside him, the endless, renewable energy of the 9 tails mixed with the stubborn growth of the senju. "I am the gardener," he thought, "and a gardener knows when to prune." "Move, old man." Naruto shoved Hiruzen aside. "Naruto, no." Naruto slammed his hands onto the Reaper's arm, the spectral limb that was holding Orochimaru's soul. "You want a life?" Naruto roared. "Take this." He didn't use a jutsu he had learned in a scroll. He didn't use a seal. He used instinct. He poured everything he had, every drop of the 9 tails fire, every ounce of the senju wood, every memory of ramen, every smile from Hinata, into the Reaper. Wood release, life substitution. A massive wooden effigy erupted from Naruto's chest. It wasn't just a log. It was shaped like a man, pulsing with a blinding green light. It was so dense with life force that it felt like a star. It had a heartbeat. It had warmth. It was 1,000 years of growth condensed into a single second. Naruto screamed as the chakra left him. It felt like his veins were being pulled out of his body. It felt like dying. The Reaper paused. It looked at the effigy. It sensed the thousands of years of potential life stored within the wood. It sensed a forest that would never die. It dropped Orochimaru's soul. It grabbed the effigy. "Gyo!" Naruto screamed, his vision going black as his chakra was drained to absolute zero. The Reaper devoured the wooden man. It slashed its knife, severing the connection to Hiruzen. But as it faded, it took a payment for the insult. It looked at Orochimaru, who was trying to crawl away. The Reaper slashed again. "My arms!" Orochimaru shrieked, watching as his spectral arms were severed and swallowed by the demon. "Give them back!" The jutsu crumbled. The first and second Hokage turned to dust, their souls returning to the Pure Land. Hiruzen caught Naruto as he fell. The boy was pale, his skin gray. His pulse was a faint, erratic flutter. "Naruto," Hiruzen wept, holding the boy close. "You foolish child." "Did we win?" Naruto whispered, his eyes barely open. "Yes," Hiruzen said, "we won." Gamahiro grabbed them both, leaping away just as the roof collapsed, carrying the saviors of Konoha away from the flames. The hospital 3 days later. The village was rebuilding. The invasion had failed. Suna had surrendered after the Kage's corpse was found in a ditch, revealing Orochimaru's deception. But the mood in the hospital was somber. The halls were filled with the wounded, the air thick with the smell of medicinal herbs. Hiruzen Sarutobi was alive, but he wasn't waking up. The strain of the Reaper death seal and the chakra drain had left him in a deep, unbreakable coma. The medics said his chakra network was exhausted. Naruto was in the bed next to him. He was awake, but he was weak. He looked at his hands, they trembled. The skin looked thin, translucent. "You shouldn't have done that," Kakashi said, standing by the window. He was peeling an apple, but his eye was fixed on the ANBU stationed outside the door. "I had to," Naruto said, his voice raspy. "He's the Hokage, he's the family." "And now the village has no leader," a cold voice said from the doorway. Danzo Shimura walked in, flanked by the advisors Koharu and Hamura. Behind them were 4 ANBU wearing masks that Kakashi didn't recognize. "Root." "The third is incapacitated," Danzo announced, tapping his cane on the floor. "The village is vulnerable. We cannot afford weakness. We cannot afford sentiment." He looked at Naruto. "And we cannot afford loose cannons. Naruto Uzumaki, by order of the Interim Council, you are under arrest." "What?" Kakashi stepped forward, his chakra flaring. "He saved the Hokage. He saved the village." "He summoned a monster in the village," Danzo countered smoothly. "He turned the arena into a jungle. He bargained with the Reaper. The civilians are terrified. They say the demon fox has learned to control the forest. They say he will eat the village next." "That's a lie," Naruto whispered. "I protected them." "Perception is reality," Danzo said. "You are too dangerous to be left roaming free. You are a weapon that has fired itself without orders." 2 Root ANBU appeared, grabbing Naruto's arms. "Don't touch me," Naruto growled, trying to pull away, but he was too weak. He fell out of bed, hitting the floor. "Take him to the confinement cells," Danzo ordered, "until the Hokage wakes, or until a new one is chosen. I am in charge. He will be kept in the deep levels for his own safety." Kakashi reached for his sword. "Don't, sensei," Naruto whispered from the floor. Kakashi froze. "If you fight, you're a rogue," Naruto said, looking up. "The village needs you. Stay here. Watch the old man. Don't let them prune him." Kakashi looked at Naruto, then at Danzo. He sheathed his sword with a click that sounded like a gunshot. "This isn't over, Danzo," Kakashi warned. "The village knows what he did. You can't hide the sun with your hand." "No," Danzo smiled, a thin, cruel thing. but I can put the sun in a box." As Naruto was dragged away, he looked back at Hiruzen's sleeping form. "Wake up, old man," he thought, "before the weeds take over the garden." Outside, Shikamaru, Ino, and Choji were arguing with the guards at the front desk. "We want to see Naruto," Ino yelled. "Restricted," the guard said tonelessly. Shikamaru narrowed his eyes. He saw Naruto being led out the back exit, surrounded by masked men. "Troublesome," Shikamaru whispered. "This isn't a hospital visit, it's a kidnapping." He turned to his friends. "We need to find Asuma, and Guy, we're going to need a bigger team." The cell was a perfect cube of gray stone. No windows, no furniture, just a single glowing seal on the heavy iron door that hummed with a suppression frequency designed to numb chakra. It was a box built to hold a monster. Naruto sat in the center of the room, his legs crossed. He had been here for 3 days. At first he had screamed. He had pounded on the door until his knuckles bled. He had summoned wood until the room was filled with splintered timber, only for the root agents to come in and burn it away with fire style, leaving the room smelling of ash and failure. Now he was quiet. He closed his eyes, sinking into the sewer of his mind. The cage was still there, but the water was calm. The 9 tails lay behind the bars, its massive head resting on its paws. It wasn't sleeping. It was watching him with slit red eyes that glowed in the darkness. "You are quiet," the fox rumbled. "I'm thinking," Naruto said. "Thinking?" the fox huffed, a sound like a steam engine releasing pressure. "About what? How to break out, how to kill the one-eyed man." "No," Naruto said, "about the garden." He looked at the water. "Danzo thinks he can prune me. He thinks if he cuts off the light I'll stop growing, but he's wrong." "Oh," the fox opened one eye. "And why is that?" "Because roots grow in the dark," Naruto said. "They grow deeper when they can't go up, and when they find water, they break the stone." He looked at the fox. "You helped me on the roof. You let me use your chakra for the substitution." "I did not want to die," the fox scoffed. "If the Reaper took your soul, I would have been sealed away forever. Do not mistake self-preservation for affection." "Maybe," Naruto smiled. "But you didn't fight me. You let the wood hold you." The fox was silent for a long moment. The wood, it was warm. It did not feel like a chain. It felt like shelter. Naruto stood up in the mindscape. "I'm going to get out of here, Kurama. And when I do, I'm going to change this village. I'm going to make sure no one is ever put in a cage again. Not even you." The fox's eyes widened slightly. "You speak of impossible things, brat." "I do impossible things before breakfast," Naruto grinned. Konoha, the barbecue restaurant. The resistance met over beef. It was the only place they could talk without raising suspicion. Shikamaru, Choji, Ino, Kiba, Shino, Hinata, and Sakura sat around a large table. The grill was sizzling, but no one was eating. The atmosphere was heavy, thick with frustration. "This is troublesome," Shikamaru muttered, staring at his untouched plate. "The official report says Naruto is in protective custody due to chakra exhaustion, but my dad says Danzo has him in the root sector." "Protective custody my butt," Kiba growled, slamming his fist on the table. Akamaru barked in agreement. "They locked him up because they're scared. Did you see him in the arena? He made a forest. He saved the village." "That's exactly why they're scared," Shino said, adjusting his glasses. "People fear what they do not understand, and a boy who can control the First Hokage's power is terrifying to those in power." Hinata was silent. She was staring at her tea, her hands trembling. She thought of the boy on the monument, the one who had taught her to be strong. "We have to get him out," Sakura said. Her voice was steady, though her eyes were red. "He wouldn't leave us in a cell. He came back for us in the forest. He fought Gaara for us." "We can't just storm the root base," Shikamaru said. "That's treason. We'd be labeled rogue ninjas. We need a legal precedent, or a distraction." What kind of distraction? Ino asked. A riot, a voice said from the next booth. Kakashi Headache stood up, holding a skewer of beef. Beside him were Asuma Sarutobi and Kurenai Yuhai. Sensei, Sakura gasped. The Jonin are restless, Asuma said, lighting a cigarette. My father is in a coma and Danzo is acting like the cage. We don't like it. He's making moves to consolidate power. So what do we do? Kiba asked. We make noise, Kakashi said. We make sure the village knows exactly who saved them. We spread the truth. We turn Naruto from a monster into a martyr. Rumors, Ino smiled. I'm good at rumors. And while the village is asking questions, Kakashi continued, his eye hardening, Guy and I are going to pay Danzo a visit. A very loud visit. The streets of Konoha. It started as a whisper. Did you hear? The boy who stopped the one tail. The Uzumaki kid. I heard he summoned the First Hokage forest to protect the stadium. They say he sacrificed his own life force to save the third. Then why is he in jail? Danzo, he wants the power for himself. By noon the next day, the whisper was a murmur. By evening it was a shout. At Ikaraku Ramen, a customer grumbled about the demon brat. Tuche slammed a bowl down so hard it cracked. That boy is a hero, Tuche shouted, silencing the shop. He has eaten here every day for years. He has never caused trouble. And now he fights monsters for you while you sit here and complain. Get out. No ramen for ungrateful fools. In the academy, Konohamaru and his friends were putting up crude, hand-drawn posters on every telephone pole. Free Naruto, free the hero. The villagers, who had spent 12 years looking at Naruto with hate, began to look at the Hokage Tower with suspicion. They remembered the trees in the arena. They remembered the way the boy in orange had stood against the monsters. They remembered that the fourth Hokage had entrusted the village to them. Fear is a powerful motivator, but guilt is a fire that burns slow and hot. Konoha Hospital, the awakening. Hiruzen Sarutobi floated in a gray void. He felt tired, so tired it would be easy to just let go, to join Baiwako, to join Minato. Wake up, old man. The voice was faint, it sounded like orange. Wake up, the weeds are growing. Hiruzen's eyes snapped open. He gasped, sitting up in the hospital bed. Every muscle in his body screamed. His chakra network felt like dried parchment. Lord Third, the medic ninjas rushed to him. Status, Hiruzen croaked. Report. Kakashi stepped out from the shadows. He looked exhausted. The invasion failed, Kakashi said. Suna surrendered, but Orochimaru escaped. And Naruto? Hiruzen asked. Kakashi's face darkened. Danzo has him. He's been in the root cells for 4 days. Hiruzen's eyes narrowed. The fatigue vanished, replaced by a cold, terrible fury. He ripped the IVs from his arm. Get me my robes, Hiruzen ordered, and get my staff. The root base, day 4. Danzo sat in his chair, listening to the report. Civilian unrest is at 40%, the agent said. Petitions for the boy's release are flooding the administrative office. The Jonin commander has threatened to resign if he is not allowed to see the prisoner. Danzo scowled. Fools, they do not understand. The boy is a weapon. He must be tempered. He must be broken to be fixed. He is not a weapon, Danzo. The door to the command center didn't open. It melted. Hiruzen Sarutobi stepped through the hole in the wall. He was wearing his hospital gown, leaning heavily on his staff, but his chakra was a palpable weight in the room. He looked like a man who had walked out of his own grave to settle a debt. Behind him stood Kakashi, Guy, and a dozen ANBU. Hiruzen, Danzo stood up, his hand going to his cane. You should be resting. And you, Hiruzen said, his voice a low growl, should be running. I did what was necessary, Danzo said. You were weak. The village needed a hand. The village needs a heart, Hiruzen roared, not a hand that strangles it. He slammed his staff onto the floor. The stone cracked. "Release him, now, or I will dismantle this entire foundation stone by stone. I will expose root. I will expose everything." Danzo looked at Hiruzen. He looked at the angry Jonin. He looked at the reports of the village turning against him. He realized he had miscalculated. He had underestimated the boy's influence. He sat down. "Very well," Danzo said. "But know this, Hiruzen, you are letting a tiger loose in the streets. When he bites, do not come crying to me." "If he bites," Hiruzen said, "it will be because you poked him." The cell. The door opened. Light flooded the room. Naruto squinted, shielding his eyes. He saw a silhouette in the doorway. "Old man," he whispered. Hiruzen walked in. He looked frail, old, and tired, but he was smiling. "I'm sorry it took so long, Naruto," Hiruzen said. "I had a long nap." Naruto stood up. His legs were shaky, but he ran. He hugged the old man, burying his face in the hospital gown. "I thought you were gone," Naruto sobbed. "I have too much work to do to die yet," Hiruzen said, patting Naruto's back. "Come on, let's go home. I think someone owes you a bowl of ramen." As they walked out of the darkness and into the sun, Naruto saw them. Sakura, Sasuke leaning on a crutch, Kakashi, Hinata, Iruka, the whole team, they were waiting. Naruto wiped his eyes. He looked at the sun. He looked at the trees surrounding the village. The roots grew in the dark, he thought, but the flowers, they need the light. And for the first time in his life, Naruto Uzumaki felt like he was standing in the sun. The Hokage office evening. Hiruzen sat at his desk. He looked at the paperwork. He looked at his trembling hands. He couldn't hold a pen steady. The Reaper had taken its toll. He was alive, but he was no longer the god of shinobi. "Jiraiya," Hiruzen said. The Sannin stepped out from the window. "Old man, you look like hell." "I feel like it," Hiruzen admitted. "I can't do this anymore, Jiraiya. I can't protect them, not like this." "So," Jiraiya asked, "you want me to take the hat?" "No," Hiruzen said. "You're a wanderer, and Danzo would eat you alive in the council meetings." He picked up a photo, a picture of a blonde woman with a fierce temper. "Find her," Hiruzen said. "Find Tsunade, tell her the village needs her, tell her the tree has bloomed." Jiraiya grinned. "She's gonna be a pain to convince. She hates this place." "Take Naruto," Hiruzen said. "He has a way with people." Jiraiya looked out the window, where Naruto was currently being mobbed by his friends. "Yeah," Jiraiya said, "he sure does." Act 4 was over, but the search for the fifth Hokage had just begun. The Hokage's room in the Konoha hospital was more machine than man. Beeping monitors, humming chakra stabilizers, and the rhythmic hiss of a ventilator filled the air, creating a symphony of artificial life. The walls were lined with seals, glowing faintly as they tried to hold the third Hokage spirit to his body. Hiruzen Sarutobi lay in the center of it all, a withered husk of the god of shinobi. His skin was gray, translucent like old parchment. His breathing was shallow, each inhalation a struggle against the weight of the Reaper's curse. The Shinigami had taken more than just his chakra. It had taken his vitality, leaving him a hollow vessel. "Jiraiya," Hiruzen whispered. His eyes were closed, sunken deep into his skull, but he knew who was standing by the window. He could smell the mountain air and cheap sake. "I'm here, Sensei," Jiraiya said, his voice unusually soft. The Sannin leaned against the sill, looking out at the village that was slowly rebuilding. Cranes dotted the skyline, lifting stone and timber to repair the scars of the invasion. "My time is short," Hiruzen wheezed. "The medical corps, they are doing their best, but this is a wound of the soul. Only one person can stitch a soul back together." "Tsunade," Jiraiya said, the name heavy on his tongue. "Find her," Hiruzen ordered, opening his eyes. They were cloudy, milky with age and trauma, but the will behind them was iron. "Bring her home, not just for the hat, but because, if she doesn't come, The village will fall to the roots. Danzo, he smells blood. Jiraiya nodded, his face grim. I'll find her. I'll drag her back by her ear if I have to, and I'm taking the brat with me. Good, Hiruzen smiled faintly. He reminds me of Nawaki, perhaps. He can remind her too. He has the same loud, annoying hope. The village gates. Naruto adjusted his backpack. It felt heavy, filled with ramen cups and changes of clothes, but not as heavy as the stares he was getting. The villagers watched him with a mix of awe and fear. They whispered as he passed. The forest demon. The boy who stopped the sand. You're leaving? Sasuke asked. He was leaning against the gate, his arms still in a sling, his face pale. The curse mark was dormant, but its presence hung around him like a shroud. Yeah, Naruto said, kicking a pebble. Gotta find the new Hokage, and maybe a doctor who can fix the old one. Jiraiya says she's the best in the world. Don't do anything stupid, Sasuke said. And don't fall behind. I'm training while you're gone. Kakashi is teaching me the Chidori's variants. I won't, Naruto grinned, though it didn't reach his eyes. I'm gonna learn a super cool jutsu. When I get back, I'll be way stronger than you. I'll make a tree so big you can't even climb it. Sasuke smirked, but his eyes were serious. Dark, we'll see. Sakura waved from the check-in station. Be careful, Naruto, and make sure Jiraiya-sama doesn't spend all your money. Keep him away from the bars. I heard that, Jiraiya shouted from down the road, waving a dismissive hand. As they walked away, Naruto looked back. He saw his friends. He saw the village gates, the symbol of the leaf painted in red. And in the shadows of the wall, he saw a root agent watching him, a porcelain mask reflecting the sun. I'll be back, Naruto thought, touching the seal on his stomach. And when I am, I'm gonna pull every weed in this garden. The road town 2 days later. The journey had been long and dusty. Jiraiya was a terrible teacher in the traditional sense. He didn't give lectures, he gave riddles. Control isn't about holding tight, Jiraiya had said, stealing Naruto's popsicle. It's about letting go in the right direction. Now they were in a hotel in a town that smelled of gambling and desperation. Jiraiya was gathering intelligence, which meant peeping on women in the bathhouse, leaving Naruto alone. Naruto sat in his room, trying to meditate. He was holding a leaf, trying to push his chakra into it without burning it or making it explode into a tree. Balance, he told himself, fire and wood, yin and yang. A knock at the door. Room service, a deep voice said. Naruto frowned. He hadn't ordered anything. He stood up, his hand going to his kunai pouch. He opened the door a crack. 2 men stood there. They wore black cloaks with red clouds. One was huge, with blue skin and a sword wrapped in bandages that pulsed with a hungry chakra. The other was smaller, with eyes that looked like blood-red pinwheels. Itachi Uchiha. Naruto Uzumaki, Itachi said. His voice was calm, polite even. We would like you to come with us. Who are you? Naruto asked, stepping back. The weight in his gut surged. These men felt empty, like walking voids. We are the Akatsuki, the Sharkmen grinned, showing rows of razor-sharp teeth. And you little fish are the 9 tails. Stay back, Naruto shouted. He tried to slam the door, but the Sharkman kicked it open. Samehato is hungry, Kasame laughed, swinging his massive sword. It likes your chakra, it tastes earthy. Kasame swung. Naruto blocked with a crossed-arm guard, his skin hardening into bark. Crunch! The sword hit Naruto's arms, but instead of cutting, the bandages unraveled. Scales shot out, shredding the wood armor and eating the chakra underneath. Hey, Naruto yelled, stumbling back. It ate my wood. It eats everything, Kasame grinned. Crash! The wall exploded. Sasuke stood there panting, his Sharingan spinning. He looked like a demon of vengeance. Itachi, Sasuke screamed, I will kill you. Sasuke, Naruto gasped. Stay out of this, Naruto, Sasuke charged. Chidori. He lunged at his brother, lightning crackling in his hand. Itachi didn't even move. He caught Sasuke's wrist. He twisted it, breaking the bone with a sickening snap. "You are weak," Itachi whispered. "Why are you weak? Because you lack hatred." He stared into Sasuke's eyes. "Tsukuyomi." "No," Naruto screamed. He didn't think, he didn't weave signs, he just reacted. Wood release, dome of protection. Roots erupted from the floorboards. They shot up, weaving together into a thick, solid dome around Sasuke, blocking Itachi's line of sight. The wood was dense, infused with Naruto's desperate vitality. Oh, Itachi looked at the wooden barrier. First Hokage style. Interesting. You are trying to shield him from the truth. "Don't look at him," Naruto yelled. His hand slammed onto the wood, pouring more chakra into it. "I won't let you hurt him." "A noble effort," Itachi said, "but wood burns." Itachi closed his eyes, then he opened them. The pattern changed. Amaterasu. Black flames exploded on the wood. It wasn't normal fire. It didn't crackle, it hissed. It ate the wood. It ate the chakra inside the wood. The dome that Naruto had poured his soul into didn't just burn, it vanished into nothingness. The black fire spread, consuming the floor, the walls, the very air. "What?" Naruto gasped, stumbling back. "My wood, it's gone." The black fire continued, licking at Sasuke's arm. Sasuke screamed, the flames burning his skin. "Enough!" Jiraiya appeared. He summoned the stomach of a giant toad, trapping them all in fleshy, red walls. "You have overstayed your welcome," Jiraiya said, his face grim. "Itachi Uchiha, Kasame Hashigaki." Itachi looked at the toad's stomach, then at Jiraiya. "Kasame, we are leaving." "But the boy." "We cannot fight a Sannin and take the Jinchuriki. Not now, and my eyes, they are tired." Itachi used Amaterasu again, burning a hole through the toad's stomach, a feat that should have been impossible. They vanished into the black fire. Naruto rushed to Sasuke. The Uchiha was writhing on the floor, clutching his arm where the black fire had touched him. He wasn't caught in the Tsukuyomi, but he was burned, and his pride was shattered. "You," Sasuke hissed, looking at Naruto, "you saved me." "I tried," Naruto whispered, looking at the ash where his wood used to be. "But he burned it. He burned it all." Sasuke looked at Naruto with a mixture of hatred and despair. He didn't see a friend. He saw a rival who had stepped in where he had failed. He saw the brother he couldn't kill and the teammate who was leaving him behind. "I don't need your help," Sasuke screamed, passing out from the pain. Naruto looked at the black flames that were still burning on the floor, unquenchable. "My wood wasn't strong enough," he thought. I need something that doesn't burn. I need a fire of my own." The hotel room smelled of sulfur and burnt meat. The black flames of the Amaterasu had finally been sealed away by Jiraiya, but the heat lingered, a ghostly reminder of the power they had just witnessed. Sasuke was lying on a futon, his arm bandaged. He was awake, but his eyes were fixed on the ceiling, unseeing. Naruto sat in the corner, knees pulled to his chest. He was staring at his hands. "I couldn't stop it," Naruto whispered. "I made the strongest wood I could. I poured everything into it, and he just looked at it, and it burned." "That was Amaterasu," Jiraiya said, pouring himself a cup of sake. His face was serious, the usual jovial mask gone. "The flames of hell. They burn until the target is consumed. Even the First Hokage wood would struggle against that." "Struggle," Sasuke laughed, a dry, cracking sound. "It was kindling, we were kindling." Sasuke sat up, wincing. He looked at Naruto. "You shouldn't have interfered." "I was saving you," Naruto snapped. "I didn't need saving," Sasuke shouted. "I needed to kill him. I needed to prove that I am strong enough, and instead you protected me with your stupid branches." "Sasuke, stop," Jiraiya warned. "No," Sasuke swung his legs out of bed. "He didn't even use Tsukuyomi on me. He didn't think I was worth it. He just burned your wood and left. I wasn't even a threat to him." Sasuke stood up, swaying. I need power, I need more power. You need to rest, Jiraiya said, pushing him back down. We're taking you back to Konoha. Guy is waiting outside. I'm not going back. Yes, you are, Jiraiya said, his voice leaving no room for argument. You're hurt, and your mind is a mess. Guy will take you back. Naruto and I are continuing the mission. Sasuke looked at Naruto. The look in his eyes was terrifying. It wasn't just jealousy anymore. It was hate. Go then, Sasuke spat. Go play gardener, I'll find my own way. Guy arrived a moment later, his usual enthusiasm dampened by the situation. He carried Sasuke out on his back. As they left, Sasuke didn't look back. Naruto watched them go. He felt a crack in his chest, wider than the one in the hotel wall. He hates me, Naruto said. He hates himself, Jiraiya corrected. And right now, you're the mirror showing him his own weakness. Jiraiya sighed. Come on, we have a lot of walking to do, and a lot of training. The road, day 3. The Rasengan, Jiraiya said, holding out his hand. A ball of blue chakra swirled in his palm. It was chaotic, powerful, and contained. It spun with such force that the air around it hummed. Whoa, Naruto breathed. What is it? It's the fourth Hokage legacy, Jiraiya said. A jutsu of pure shape transformation. No hand signs, just raw power and control. He popped the chakra ball, letting it dissipate. You have the power, Jiraiya said. You have oceans of it, but you lack the control. Your would release. It's instinctive. It grows because it wants to. The Rasengan requires you to tell the chakra exactly what to do. You have to be the boss. I can do it, Naruto said, determination hardening his features. Teach me. The training ground, the water balloon. The first step was rotation. Pop a water balloon with chakra. Naruto sat by the stream holding a balloon. He focused. He churned his chakra. Spin, spin. The balloon wobbled. Come on, Naruto gritted his teeth. Spin. He pushed harder. He added more power. Squelch. The balloon didn't pop. It grew. Green shoots erupted from the rubber, tangling together into a wet, mossy ball. The water inside didn't explode. It was absorbed by the plants. Argh, Naruto threw the moss ball into the river. Not again. Jiraiya watched from a nearby tree, writing in his notebook. Interesting. His chakra is so saturated with yang energy that it instinctively creates life. He can't just create pure kinetic force. The wood wants to manifest. Pervy sage, Naruto yelled. It's doing the tree thing again. Then stop using the tree chakra, Jiraiya yelled back. Isolate the wind, isolate the motion. I don't know how. Figure it out. Naruto growled. He picked up another balloon. He looked at it. Okay, no trees, no roots, just spin. He focused on the feeling of the wind in the leaves, not the leaves themselves. He focused on the storm, not the forest. Spin. The balloon wobbled. It distorted. Pop. Water sprayed his face. Yes, Naruto cheered. He looked down. In the center of the popped balloon remnants, a tiny, single seedling was floating in the puddle of water. Naruto sighed. Well, it's a start. The road town night. Naruto lay in bed looking at his hand. He was exhausted. His chakra coils burned. Hey, pervy sage, Naruto whispered. What? Jiraiya grunted from the other bed. Do you think I can ever be strong enough to stop the black fire? Jiraiya was silent for a long time. The black fire destroys, Jiraiya said finally. Wood creates. Destruction is easy, Naruto. Creation is hard. It takes time, it takes patience. But in the end, the forest always grows back after the fire. Naruto closed his eyes. He thought of the tiny seedling in the balloon. I'll make a Rasengan, he thought, but I'll make it my way. A Rasengan that doesn't just destroy. He fell asleep, dreaming of a spiral that bloomed. The second stage of training was a rubber ball. It was thicker, harder, and didn't have water to help visualize the movement. It required pure power. Naruto sat on a rock, his face screwed up in concentration. He had been at it for 3 days. His hands were blistered, the skin raw and peeling. "More power," Jiraiya yelled from his perch on a high branch. "You're tickling it. You have to dominate the chakra." Naruto grunted. He pushed his chakra. He felt the fox's fire wanting to burn and the first's wood wanting to grow. It was like trying to herd cats while juggling torches. "If I use the fire, the ball melts. If I use the wood, the ball turns into a nut. I need the wind." He looked at the rubber ball. He had to find the middle, the eye of the storm. He closed his eyes. He remembered the feeling of the root snare, the snap, the twist. He remembered the feeling of the bridge, the explosive growth. "Don't grow out," he told his chakra. "Grow in, spiral in, like the rings of a tree." The ball began to vibrate. It shook violently in his hand. Crack! It didn't pop, it split. But inside the split something was spinning. Naruto looked. Inside the rubber shell, a tiny, perfect sphere of swirling wood had formed. It looked like a polished, wooden marble, spinning so fast it hummed like an angry hornet. I made a marble," Naruto asked, poking it. Jiraiya jumped down. He picked up the ball. He looked at the wooden core, his eyes widening. "You condensed the wood," Jiraiya said, sounding impressed. "You compressed the density until it became a solid, spinning mass. Naruto, this isn't a Rasengan, this is a bullet. A wooden bullet that can pierce steel." "Is that good?" "It's dangerous," Jiraiya grinned. "Keep going." The week of thorns. The week passed in a blur of pain and sawdust. Naruto didn't sleep. He stood in the clearing, spinning chakra until his hands shook. Every time he failed, a tree would sprout crookedly from the ground, or a patch of grass would wither. The forest around him became a chaotic mess of half-formed life. Jiraiya watched him. "You know," Jiraiya said one night by the campfire, "the First Hokage used to sit like that. He would talk to the trees for hours." "Did they talk back?" Naruto asked, poking the fire with a stick. "He said they did," Jiraiya smiled. "He said they told him secrets about the rain, about the soil. He said the forest was the only thing that never lied." "My forest lies," Naruto mumbled. "It tells me I'm strong, then it tries to eat my feet." "That's because you don't trust it yet," Jiraiya said. "You still think of it as a weapon. Hashirama thought of it as a friend." Naruto looked at his hand. He channeled a small amount of chakra. A tiny green shoot curled around his finger. "A friend," Naruto whispered. "Hey there, little guy." The shoot curled tighter, affectionate. Tanzaku quarters. They found her in a gambling hall. She was loud, blonde, and currently losing a small fortune. Tsunade Senju, the slug princess, the last of the first line. "Grandma," Naruto shouted, pointing a finger. "Are you the one who's supposed to save the old man?" The music stopped. Every patron froze. A bouncer took a step forward, but Jiraiya waved him off. Tsunade turned slowly. Her eyes were hazel, sharp, and currently filled with a hangover that could kill a lesser ninja. "Who are you calling grandma, brat?" she growled. "Naruto Uzumaki," Naruto declared, puffing out his chest. "And I'm gonna be Hokage, so stop losing money and come fix Hiruzen Jiji." Tsunade's eyes widened slightly. She looked at Naruto. She looked at the necklace he wasn't wearing yet, but she felt it. The chakra. It was unmistakable. It was the scent of the deep woods. "Uzumaki," she whispered, "and Senju." She stood up, her chair scraping the floor. "Jiraiya, what is this? Is this a joke?" "This is the future," Jiraiya said, leaning against a slot machine. "Or the end, depending on if you help us. The old man is dying, Tsunade. The Reaper took his vitality." "The Hokage is a fool's job," Tsunade spat, turning back to her cards. "Only idiots want to be Hokage. They all die young, just like Nawaki, just like Dan." What did you say? Naruto charged. Don't you dare insult them. Naruto, stop, Jiraiya warned. But Naruto didn't stop. He leaped onto the table, scattering chips and cards. He formed the seal. I'll show you what a Hokage is made of. He focused. He poured his chakra into his hand. The blue sphere formed, but this time it was laced with green veins. Verdant Rasengan. He slammed it onto the table. Boom! The table disintegrated, but it didn't just break. The wood of the table, it grew. Splinters turned into saplings. The legs of the table rooted into the floor. In seconds, a small, twisted tree stood where the gambling table had been, its branches curling protectively around the spot where Naruto's hand had struck. Silence filled the hall. Tsunade stared at the tree. Her hand went to her mouth. She was shaking. Mokuton, she whispered, grandfathers. She looked at Naruto. She saw the blonde hair, the whisker marks, but she also saw the shadow of Hashirama standing behind him, and the shadow of Nawaki, smiling that same goofy grin. You, Tsunade's voice trembled. Who are you? I told you, Naruto said, standing on the branch of the table tree. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the gardener of Konoha. Tsunade turned away. Get out before I kill you. Tsunade, Jiraiya started. Out, she screamed, smashing a wall with a single punch. The wall crumbled like wet sand. Naruto jumped down. He looked at the broken wall, then at Tsunade's back. Fine, Naruto said, but I'm not giving up. I'm gonna master this jutsu, and then I'm gonna drag you back to the village because the old man needs you, and I think you need the village too. He walked out. Tsunade stood in the wreckage of the gambling hall, staring at the tree growing out of the floor. She reached out a trembling hand and touched a leaf. It was warm. Nawaki, she sobbed. Dan, why does he have to be so much like you? Outside the bed. As they walked into the night, Shizune ran out of the hall, clutching Taunton the pig. Wait, she called. Naruto turned. Lady Tsunade, Shizune panted. She wants to make a bet. A bet? 1 week, Shizune said. Master that jutsu. If you can use it in a fight, she'll give you her necklace, the first necklace, and she'll come back to Konoha. And if I lose? Naruto asked. Then you leave her alone forever, Shizune said, and she takes your money. Naruto grinned. He adjusted his headband. Tell the grandma she's gonna lose, and tell her to get her wallet ready. Shizune smiled weakly. I hope she does. I really hope she does. She ran back inside. Jiraiya looked at Naruto. 1 week to master a jutsu that took the fourth 3 years. You're crazy. I'm not crazy, Naruto said, looking at his hand. I'm just in a hurry. The garden is waiting. The castle ruins midnight. Orochimaru stood on the crumbling wall of an old castle overlooking the town. His arms were wrapped in black bandages, useless and necrotic. Kabuto stood beside him. She is here, Orochimaru hissed. Tsunade. And Jiraiya, Kabuto added, and the Nine-Tails boy. The boy, Orochimaru licked his lips. The one with the wood, he wounded me, Kabuto, his chakra. It is like a poison to my immortality. It is too alive. Shall we kill him? No, Orochimaru smiled. We will let Tsunade break him. She will never heal the third. She hates the village too much. I will offer her what she wants most. I will offer her the dead. He looked at the moon. And once she heals my arms, I will take the boy, and I will plant a new forest in the ashes of Konoha.